The second candle is lit. Its name is Philia. The love for friends. The yellow candle shone and danced with her breath. Let this candle burn until its wick is spent. Encourage friendship, bring forth memories. Let me walk in his halls without any suspicion. Let me rummage through his belongings invisibly. His journal. He guards his journal fiercely. I must find it. Whew, so she's really casting 3 spells on Jalem now. Her mother told her to do that, or was it herself? But what? Why? Why should mother have anything against Jalem? How had they met, or how have they been involved? Probably mother had something to do with the ancestors of Jalem. That's like the only thing I can imagine. I really don't know. And Rosa just gets used by her mother, I guess. I don't know. Rosa adjusted her coat as she sat on one of the reserved seats. Oh, they're at the theater now. The theater was packed, the air buzzed with excitement. She hadn't realized this many people would come tonight. Oh, mother, I wish they would stop staring at me. And why not? This was Madame Catherine Perride's first solo concerto. Her name had been slowly gathering recognition the past few years. It was feasible to expect a full house. Wait, is Catherine... Isn't she dead? Still, the turnout was more than they had expected. Paris had taken Rosa and Catherine by surprise. Oh, they're in Paris. Where had they been before? Have they been in Paris before? I'm not sure. I don't think so. The sheer number of people and their liveliness were well above the usual sights of their small town. Yeah, right, I don't come from Paris. Catherine was obviously thrilled with the opportunity to play in such an esteemed venue for her debut. Rosa tried her best to keep her anxiety under control. This was for Catherine. Yes, for her. This was her night. Rosa took a deep breath and released it slowly. It relaxed her. I hope the show starts soon. Rosa's eye drifted towards the stage and then to the throng of people gathered to her far left. In the middle of the huddle stood the familiar shape of a man. He had his back to her, but the posture and the build were unmistakable. That's Jalem. Her heart made a sudden, gleeful jump. She was delighted that he had made it to Catherine's show. He had been traveling extensively recently. So this is another flashback, it looks like. What if she walked over and made sure? Jalem would greet her kindly. She was sure Catherine would be thrilled to know he was here. Rosa pondered for a bit, reminded of a sudden wince of pain. Soon, the master of ceremonies obliged people to take their seats. Jalem turned around and walked towards her. He stopped midway and took a seat without noticing her presence. Rosa seemed deep in thought. What's wrong, sweetheart? Something bothering you? Nothing, Mother. Don't lie to me. I just didn't expect to see him here, that's all. Oh, I see. It is the same problem, isn't it? I can ask 2 questions. Does Jalem's presence upset you, or are you worried about Catherine now that he's here? Are you worried about Catherine? I want to know more about that. That filthy man, again. I'm sure Catherine will be pleased. Oh, so this is when Catherine... Probably this takes place when Emily is already dead, Catherine's sister, and Catherine is in love with Jalem. It's very probable. Okay, let's see. Whatever will she think now that her lover is back? I bet she would rather spend all her time with him, as usual. My poor darling. Always running after her star. I wonder how long until she is tired of you constantly tagging along. You brag to me that you share everything, like sisters. Does that include Julene, too? Oh, you are making your life so complicated, darling. Why do you even bother yourself with these people? It is obvious he's never going to look at you. It is obvious she will abandon you. Oh, goddamn, Mother. Why do you give me those choices? It is obvious she will abandon you. She will obviously abandon you when they get together. They will make such a lovely pair. Rosa winced at her mother's voice, as if it were nails grating on a wall. It is only a matter of time, isn't it? What will you do then? Aren't you tired of being the third wheel? It is not like that, Mother. We're friends. Friends. Darling, friendship is nothing but a shallow kind of relationship. People change friends as easily as the weather. You don't even remember the friends you make at a certain age. Friendships do not last. Family is more important. Oh, this is such a tough choice. I don't agree with both things, but I guess this one, yeah. I'm the only one who will care for you forever, darling. A mother's love will endure. This bond can never be broken by time or absence. Family lifts you up. It saves. Of course you feel this way. You see them often. But when you lose touch, you're left with nothing but a collection of strangers. And believe me, my dear, they will leave. They always have. You amuse them now, but soon they will abandon you too. Rosa's tongue felt bitter in her mouth. She was filled with annoyance for her mother. Wasn't happiness as fleeting as friendship? Yet it was not any less real than sadness. Yes, family was important. These familiar bonds kept her from losing herself. It was her rock, her foundation. But were these bonds the only constant value? These friends. These were people who accepted her. They shared laughter and tears, their own regrets and dreams. In her heart, she had found a home with them. What more was needed? Rosa's confused feelings began to arrange themselves neatly in her mind. Julene and Catherine's happiness was important to her. That was the main thing. She knew they felt the same way for her. Her insecurities were real, but they were insignificant. If anything, they were bittersweet. She had no regrets. For the first time in her life, she wanted to talk back to Mother. Yes, do it, go, Rosa, go. She bit her lip, quelling the nerves as she opened her mouth to speak. But just a quick question. Does she need to open her mouth to speak to the mother? Her mother speaks in her mind, right? But just a side note. I know that. What? I know they might abandon me one day for whatever reason. It might be today, or next year, or even sooner. But that doesn't matter in the long run. I'm happy with them. We've had years together that I will treasure. Like I treasure memories of you too, Mother. My memories of you keep me sustained. That is why I love you. The years we spent together, no matter how fleeting, are still worth something. So let me care for them right now. Everything changes, but nothing is lost. Rosa was sure she had read it somewhere. Rosa waited for Mother to answer with a vicious voice, to burst out screaming at her cheekiness. But no voice came. Rosa smiled to herself. The lights dimmed. Uh-oh, but is this really a victory over her mother? I'm not sure. Doesn't sound good. Also, can you win over a voice in your head? I'm not sure. A low hush descended over the pews. Soon Catherine entered, clad in the loveliest gown and even lovelier smile. She was beautiful. She belonged on the stage. The lights shone on her, but they paled in comparison to her radiance. Catherine bowed to her audience and took a seat in front of the piano. She began to play. I think the music's broken now, because I don't hear anything. Rosa gripped the handle of her seat. She felt surges of emotion with every note. Wait a second, don't we have music? Oh yeah, I hear it now. It's super quiet. Let me turn this up a bit. Good. That's better. Nice. Huh. Do I know this one? I don't think so. Okay. Let's go on. A kind of energy passed through her, touching her skin and making her break into goosebumps. Oh, Catherine! Rosa had known of such an effect before this moment. Music that could so strike the heart as if it was filling with the soul. It was different from practice, different from when she was performing in front of smaller groups. This was a stage, and here was a woman with strings. She was tugging the right keys, touching your heart and electrifying your soul. Rosa realized she wasn't alone in this feeling. The whole room was mesmerized. She looked at the lady beside her seat. She had her hand to her open mouth. A teardrop dangled precautiously on her eye. The man to her left seemed to have forgotten to blink. Rosa beamed and savored the rush of kinship with them. They were experiencing the same emotions with her. It made her love them just a little bit. Rosa closed her eyes and savored the night. Oh, she does play nice. A bead of sweat fell from Catherine's chin. She was out of her body now. Her stress from the beginning of the show had thawed and turned into passion. It ran down her fingers to the keys. It did not escape Catherine's notice that most people in the crowd came to the show to gawk at her. Catherine Perride, the one that the infamous Marquis de Gull had been courting for years. Didn't he pay for this event? Lucky broad. Catherine Perride, I heard she was some pianist. Any good? Who knows? Must be. If even the Marquis is chasing her. Catherine Perride. Some female pianist. Pretty face, nice flesh on her. Let us watch her show. Her fingers caressed the keys, playing them with the force of her heart. Did she play to prove them wrong? Her music saturated the theater with her fervor. No, not to prove them wrong. To set it right. Catherine Perride is my name. I am more than just a pretty face, and I am playing this piece for you. It is my gift. Let me touch your soul. Rosa felt her eye get moist. This was Catherine's heart transcribed into music. All energy and beauty with the strength of the wind. The mischief of a sudden gale that whips at a lady's skirts and tips gentlemen's hats. The cold breeze that carried the loneliness of the coming winter. Everyone in the audience felt it. Rosa searched for Jolene's face in the darkness. She couldn't see him clearly, but it didn't matter. She knew what he was feeling. She felt it too. Rosa's heart began to ache. It was a sting she didn't know how to name. After the show, Rosa greeted Catherine in her backstage dressing room. Woo, she does look beautiful. She was smothered in flowers from the audience. Sweat glistened on her forehead. Catherine gave her a tight hug. Congratulations, blah blah. Congratulations, Kath. You were marvelous on stage. Thank you, Rosie. Catherine covered her cheeks with her hands. I'm still shaking. The excitement from the stage hasn't left yet. Look at my hands. Oh dear. So I would call this show a success, yes? Pour the champagne, chérie. It is a night to remember. Catherine and Rosa hugged again. Let me just finish up here, Rosa. Then we'll celebrate properly. Two young, ravishing ladies sampling the best of what Paris has to offer. I like it. Rosa laughed. Just don't let go of my hand. You might get lost being so starry-eyed. She was teasing, but smiling brightly all the same. I would never. Anyway, shall I meet you outside in a few minutes? Very well. I'll see you later. Rosa was thankful to leave the backstage area. Oh yeah, there are lots of flowers. She had almost forgotten her anxiety during the show, but the backstage was a nil reminder of the crowd. She looked forward to the night ahead, wondering vaguely why she hadn't mentioned Jaleem's presence to Kath. She shrugged it off. It had simply slipped her mind, that was all.